Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with today's Timeless Tarot reading for August the 28th of 2025, but this is a timeless reading, so whenever you find it is exactly when it was meant to find you. We will be pulling 8 cards from the Divine Masculine, 8 cards from the Divine Feminine, in accordance with the 8 human chakras and read according to the path of the tarot, so that we can get a better understanding of how best to manifest our highest timeline in accordance with Spirit. I've already done a pre-shuffle, but I like to get 2 more just to make sure everything is exactly where it needs to be. And now we will begin pulling from the Divine Feminine deck with the base. And in the base, we have the Empress. In the sacral, we have the 8 of Swords. In the solar plexus, we have the Chariot. In the heart, we have Temperance. In the throat, we have the Ace of Swords. In the third eye, we have the 3 of Wands. And in the crown, we have the Queen of Swords. We'll leave the 8th card on the Divine Feminine for the end of the reading. Next, we'll pull 7 cards, with the 8th being held to the end, from the Divine Masculine deck. The Divine Feminine, the cards that are already on the table, lets us know the current situations, the current energies. And the Divine Masculine lets us know what steps and actions that we can take, what we can do to fully manifest our highest timeline in accordance with Spirit. And now we will begin pulling with the crown. And in the crown, we have the Ace of Wands. In the third eye, we have the World. In the throat, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. In the heart, we have Temperance again. In the solar plexus, we have the 3 of Wands again. In the sacral, we have the 3 of Cups in reverse. And in the base, we have the 3 of Pentacles. That is a lot of 3 energy today. And 3 of Pentacles is in reverse. And then we're going to hold the last card for the end of the read. Alright, so let's walk the path of tarot and see what Spirit is telling us today. We begin in the crown. This is the area of hopes and fears. This is where you get awareness that there even is a path. This is the position of the Ace. And today, this is also the area of hopes and fears. This is what you want to come into your life, or what you think may come into your life that makes you hopeful, and what you think may come into your life that you are fearful of. You've got the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen is going to be about nurturing energy. It has just overcome the challenge of the Knight. It is not quite to the harvest of the King. It is given the appropriate energy to the appropriate crop, so that you get the appropriate harvest. It is not planting the garden. It is not harvesting the garden. It is weeding, watering, and fertilizing, given the appropriate energy to get to the appropriate harvest. This is about thoughts or communications. This is a Swords card, Queen of Swords. Queen is about the overcoming and the nurturing after the overcoming. And the Swords is about soul. It is air. It is thought, intellect. It is communication, and it is combat. So there may be a thought or an idea that you need to nurture. This is probably going to be hope today. Yesterday was a little bit fearful, but this looks to be a little bit hopeful, right? This is the nurturing energy. It is presented in the upright. This is the current situation. This is you nurturing a thought or an idea, possibly a communication, but it's hopes and fears, not the communication spot. So it is probably going to be you nurturing a thought or an idea. And that is where your hope resides, is in this thought or an idea. Now, clarifying with some actions that can be taken is the presentation of a new path. Now, this is the presentation in the presentation spot. This is about change, because it is a wand, and wands are about spirit. They are about fire. They are life, light, logos, and change. But they're also intuition. This is intuition in an intuition spot, right? Hopes and dreams being presented to the path in the presentation of the path. And so this can be an intuitive leap about the idea, right? This is the presentation of a brand new change. If it was upright, or if it was in the reverse, that is, you have already been presented with this, right? And you are now nurturing it and developing it. But This is in the active side, the divine masculine, and it is the presentation of a new path, which this presentation of this change, right? This sudden change, this change coming into your life is something that you are to nurture. That is what is going to bring about your hopes. Next, we go to the area of choices, the second stop on the path. Once you realize that there is a path, you have to make a decision about the path. This is sloth and diligence. Are you choosing the path? Or are you just expecting it to work out on its own? It will not work out on its own. This is about making decisions. Right? Now, this is the 3. Yeah. The 3 is about learning. Your current situation is that you have something to learn related to change. What we see here, right? You got presented with a new path and you made a decision with the 2. And now you are waiting to see what the result of that decision would be. This man has decided he is going to send his value out on ships in trade. And this is the ocean out in front of him. And he is waiting to learn whether or not these ships will return with benefit to him, right? And so this is a spirit of isolation, right? The 3s to me either indicate you are to work with other people or you are not. Now, I'm going to point this out even though we are not there yet, right? You have this 3, you have a 3 here and a 3 here. Both of these 3s on the bottom here, the 3 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles, are the 3 of cooperation, but they are both being presented in the reverse. You have the 3 of Wands, which is one of the 3s of isolation, right? 3 of Swords being the other one, presented twice in the upright, and you have the Spirit of Cooperation presented twice in the reverse. There might be a message there. But this is a card about learning about the changes occurring in your life, about a choice that you have made. Now, this is a choice card, or it's not a choice card, but this is the choice spot, and you are learning something. Now, actions that can be taken is the World, and once again, this is a hard one, right? The World is the culmination of the tarot. It is all of the good things coming together at the end. It is being presented to you in the upright. It is the full culmination of the entire path. That is what this is. Now, this can indicate that good things are coming in. If this was in the divine feminine spot, right, there is a choice around the world. If it is in the provisionary spot, you are being provided with the world. If it is in the communication spot, you are talking to the world. This is in the choice spot. So you are making a decision around change that has some relevance to everything, right? You should take into consideration that everything should be considered, right? Proper motivation has a result in the results, and so ensuring that you are aligned with the betterment of humanity in your decisions, the learning situation. But this appears to be a choice, right? The choice spot about learning about the world. Now, how that unfolds in your particular life, I don't know. But it does appear to be a very large lesson, right? This choice, this learning from the choice, right? You're making the choice to learn about the world. Next, we're going to go to the area of lessons, right? This is, right, if this 3 would have presented over here, that is a direct lesson. But this is lessons. This is the things that you learn. It is the area of communication. And how do we learn things? Through communication. Whether that is communicating with another person or communicating with the world, you are learning through that communication. And so the throat rules that. It is the area that deals with pride and humility, right? Taking too much credit for your work, not taking enough credit. Neither one are particularly good. You should take value in a job well done. It does not make you better than anyone. This is the presentation of a new thought, being presented with the presentation of a change here, right? These cards are linked. This is a thought or an idea. It is swords. Swords are thought, idea, communication, and combat. This one is probably going to be communication because this is the communication spot, right? And so you're being presented with a new communication that is going to lead to some change. This communication may be the key that brings about this change that leads to the nurturing that allows you to learn these things. But this is divine providence handing you the sword. And the sword symbolizes a thought or an idea. Combat, it could be combat, and if it was in the heart, it might be. But this is probably a communication. This is probably someone about to communicate to you, because this is in the inactive spot. And so let's look at the clarification so we can talk about it some more. All right. So you've got clarifying what steps that can be taken about this communication. That is, like, this is the current situation with the divine feminine. So it is either right now, you have just received it, or it is imminent. You are about to receive it. It is not a week into the future, right? This is today, maybe tomorrow, but past that is stretching it. There is some communication that is going to bring a greater understanding. But it is also going to bring some change into your life, because this is the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is change, right? Now, when this is presented in the upright, this is some change that you have a measure of control in. When the Wheel of Fortune is spun, either you are spinning it, and wherever it happens to land is the determinant, right? You don't get to choose the outcome, you choose the input. Or you are just betting on one of the slots to pop up, and you're not actually spinning the wheel. But either way, you are making a decision. There is a small measure of control involved with it. If it was the Tower, you're not having any control whatsoever. When it is presented in the upright, this is divine change coming into your life that you have a small measure of control in. But bear in mind that with the Wheel of Fortune and with the Tower, those effects can be detrimental, not just beneficial. But you also have this presenting in the reverse, which may indicate that it is out of your hands. If this is you have a small measure of control with change, this is change that you have no control over. This is also a 10 card, which indicates that there is some learning to be done. That learning is on the Path of Swords. This would be the clarifier for the 10 of Swords. And so this communication and this communication can be the same communication. They are together. This is communication that you are not in charge of. This is communication being presented to you. This is change coming into your life because of the presentation of this, and this is it being presented. And so it really does appear that there will be a communication. There is also this spirit of non-cooperation we're going to be talking about here for a bit. But this does appear to be presenting a communication leading to change that you don't have any control over. Next, we go to understanding. Right? Once you learn something, you have to understand it. And the key to understanding is your interpersonal relationships. This is about interpersonal relationships. It is also you. It is the heart that ties together the as above and the as below. It is the area that deals with greed and charity, the giving away of things, being associated with the mortal coil or with the spiritual coil, loving things not quite enough. The clinging to things, being greedy, is tied to the mortal coil, loving things a little too much. Neither one is intrinsically good. That can include your time. You can be greedy with your time. You can be charitable with your time. When you were dealing with money, you are still dealing with time. And so this is interpersonal relationships and your sense of self. It is the key to manifestation. And you've got the Temperance card twice. Now this is a 14, right? Now 14 is a harvest. This is the harvest of the path of ideas. This is the clarifier for the King of Swords. And so you have the Queen of Swords, you have the clarifier for the King of Swords presenting twice. There may be some swords interplay here, right? You got swords, swords. These two are not quite, but kind of swords. You got another sword over here. There's a whole lot of sword energy. When it is standing tall, as it is, what you have is this angel with divine providence arrayed around its head. 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the land, balanced. Pouring the waters of life equally between the two cups, balanced. This is a card of balance. This is a card of the harvest. There is no harvest without balance. If you did not put the proper energy, you don't get the proper returns. This right here, this is a double harvest through being balanced in your core being and related to other people. that like I keep getting astounded by how beneficial these cards can be arrayed together, right? In this particular configuration here together, this is really beneficial, right? I don't know how it could be better for your core self than to be getting the fruition of the path of ideas in a balanced manner, right? Both of these are presented upright. What you are doing and what you are to do is to remain balanced through the harvest. The harvest is coming. There is a change being presented, a new idea being presented, change being presented. You got the freaking world here. And like that's in your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, or your dreams and aspirations. I have to quit attaching hope to that. This is hope, right? But your dreams and aspirations, what you want to create, it's fulfillment of the world. And it looks like you got it, right? This looks like it is happening. This looks like you are reaching the harvest. Now, this isn't the final harvest of the world, but it's pretty close. That is a double harvest in the heart, right? That is interpersonal relationships and yourself around thoughts, ideas, and communications. Probably thoughts here is where this is probably communications. It's great. It really is. Next, we go to the challenges, right? If you have the understanding, you are ready to rise to meet the challenge. And this is the area that deals with gluttony and temperance. The proper use of things is definitely an area of challenge for many people. What we have here is the Chariot. Now, the Chariot symbolizes change. Not to the same degree as the Wheel of Fortune. This is change that you are in control of. This is your current situation, right? The Divine Feminine. This is the area of what is challenging you, and that challenge is related to change. But it is also related to, can you read the number right there? That is a 7. Do you know what a 7 is? If you've been around for a while, you do. The 7 is a harvest. It is the harvest of the first path of provision. This is the clarifier for the King of Pentacles. And so, while there is no kings presented, you have 3 king energies here, right? Perfect balance and the major arcana. And that's also, right, like we got the World, 2 temperances, we got the Empress, we got the Chariot, and we got the Wheel of Fortune. So that is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 16 cards, right? That's fairly significant. That's major arcana. That is big change energy. And so what we're looking at here, this guy is driving his own destiny. He is riding in the chariot, but he is yoked to his chariot, both the light and the dark in equal measure. They are working balanced to bring him to the harvest. This is chaining the forces of magic to bring you where you want to go, and that is your challenge. Now, how do you realize that challenge? How do you rise to meet it? What do? You got the 3 of Wands again. Now, these 2 cards, this is a path through the middle right here. This diagonal is a path. This diagonal is a path. The central trunk's a path. The right and the left hands, right? You have on opposite ends of this path the same card being presented in the same way. And then in the middle of it, you have temperance. There may be something to pay attention to here. This is about learning about the change, remember? And so you have learn about the change that you are controlling to bring change into your life being your challenge. And so learning to embrace this change, this harvest that you are bringing by learning something about change is going to be beneficial in your life. This is your challenge. The challenge is to get to the harvest, which is pretty much a promise, right? Harvest, 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 harvest. Learn. Might be related, right? Harvest, 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 harvest. Learn. Might be related. Next, we're going to go to the area of physical desires. These are the things that you want to create in the world. These are tied to your hopes or to your dreams and aspirations, the things you want to create. This is you visualizing your future. This is you taking the steps. Physical creation. It may be tied to children. It does have to deal with lust and chastity. That is one of the major temptations of the physical desires. Right? This is the area of physical desire. And you have some self-imposed restrictions currently holding you back. This is the 8. Yeah. This is the 8, which means that there is the presentation of a new path. You can't even make it up. Look at this, right? Presentation of a new path, harvest, harvest, presentation of a new path. Now, you have the 3 of Cups we're going to get to, and you have this change, but this is the path too, right? You've got harvest, 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 learn the new path, or see the new path, see the new path. Both of these new paths have to deal with thought or communication, possibly combat. I am not getting that energy. Well, maybe so. We do have the 3 of Cups. Now, the 3 of Cups, when it presents upright, is the cup of cooperation. This and the 3 of Pentacles, which we are going to talk about in a minute, are the 2 cards of cooperation to me. This is a celebratory cooperation, whereas the 3 of Pentacles is an education cooperation. But these 3 ladies are celebrating together. They are raising these cups, dancing in a circle, enjoying themselves and life. This is a 3, so there is a learning. But this is cups. Cups are about feelings. It is about emotions. It is about how you feel about the situation. It is familial connections, spousal connections, coworker connections, and friendships, but it is not the people, it is the emotions behind it. Cups symbolize feelings. And so you have this presented in the reverse. This is a cooperation card. This is an isolation card. Now, this can indicate that you are not to cooperate, or that you are currently in the spirit of non-cooperation, non-celebration even. There may be some learning about celebrating and feelings that you need to take into your life. But this is not you actively seeking them out. This is dealing with them as they come to you. Now, if we take these together, right, this is self-imposed restrictions. She is bound. Her hands are behind her. She has a blindfold on. She did not put those there herself. But all of these enemies are gone. Right? Their swords are there, they are not. She doesn't realize she can walk away. She doesn't realize that she can free herself. This is your current situation. You don't realize that you can free yourself. You have a harvest coming in if you can learn a lesson, right? That lesson is around feelings. And if you are feeling self-imposed restrictions in your physical generation, this is the time to get rid of those, right? This can absolutely indicate that there is a conflict, right? The 3 of Cups in reverse is a spirit of not cooperation. And if it was in your interpersonal relationships, I would even be inclined to say that. If it was in the area of communication or even challenges, again, I would be inclined to say that. But this is you dealing with your emotions, right? There is a lesson to learn around your emotions. You are self-restricting yourself from the attainment of this path. And so in order to realize how to get past this, in your area of physical desires, there is an emotional understanding that you must reach with yourself, not with someone else, right? If this was like this, I would say someone else. This is the area of sexual area, right? Sexual gratification, sexual desires, physical desires, same thing. Not exactly the same thing. There are other physical desires. But if this was being presented in the upright, maybe there is some self-restriction around a relationship. But this is you, right? This is you restricting yourself because of a misunderstanding, the learning that you need to do around an emotional situation. I don't know what that emotional situation is for you, but it's there. And now we go to provision. This is the area, that's a 3-2. That completely missed me, right? So we got 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Was there another one? Well, not that that's not enough, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threes out of 16 cards. That is almost a third. We're probably going to pull another 3. All right, so this is the area of physical provision. This is, do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have food? Do you have money? The area of provision. You've got 2 provision cards. They're both 3s. There is something to learn about provision, right? This is the Empress. This is your current energy. This is the Divine Feminine as a teenager, not fully developed like you get with the Queen on the opposite end of the reed. But this is the Divine Feminine who still has things to learn, right? The Emperor is the Divine Masculine who still has things to understand. This is learning a lesson about the path of provision. This is the clarifier for the Ten of Pentacles. Pentacles are about provision. It is, do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have food? Do you have money? The same thing that the position is. This is a provision card in a provision spot. This is a provision card in a provision spot. And they are both threes. There might be something to learn about this path of provision. This is also the card of abundance, right? This is after you have walked the first path of provision. This is the second path, the higher path. And there is something to learn about it. She has been provided for, and that allows her to be the things, right? The Divine Feminine as a teenager. It allows her to be a little bit jealous. It allows her to be a little bit too tied up in looks, money, and the things attributed to that. The Divine Feminine is not mature like the Queen is. If this was being presented in the reverse, then maybe there is you as the mature. This is you coming into provision, but not really knowing how to do anything with it. Right? Maybe your entire life has been one of lack, and now, right, these cards are really saying that is over. This is really saying that want, that need in your life is over. But you're not really fully prepared to deal with that. There will be temptations that present themselves once you have money that have not presented themselves before you did. But this is saying that you're going to be provided for, right? The Empress in your provision spot is learning how to be rich. And it is clarified by the Three of Pentacles. Now, the Three of Pentacles, when it is standing upright, this is a card of cooperation. This is workplace cooperation, right? Pentacles. What is happening in this card is that this man is standing on this bench and he is doing this work. You can see he's got the tools in his hand. One of these guys is paying for it. The other one of these guys is the master who is instructing the journeyman who is learning how to do the artwork. And the three of them working together is producing this work of art. It is a spirit of cooperation around learning in the workplace about provision. You've got it in the reverse. So you are learning this on your own. That does not mean that there is not other people involved, but all of these threes, with the exception of this one, is isolation, right? This is an isolation 3. This is an isolation 3. Both of these threes are in the reverse. That is you working on yourself. This is a provisionary path. You are on the path. You are learning about the provision. But there is still one last thing. You've got to learn about self-reliance, right? There is a learning about provision without other people. In order to fully grasp the ability to be rich, then you're going to have to come to this understanding within yourself, probably emotional, so that you can step into the maturity of your hopes, as opposed to what is actually unfolding in your life currently, which is provision, right? You are being provided for according to these cards, right? There is just too much presenting a new path, too much change, way too much harvest for things to continue as they were. Next, we're going to be pulling from the divine. This is a direct message from the divine. It is not colored by any of the virtues or the vices. The divine has both the virtues and the vices in perfect measure. Let me know down below what you think these cards would be before I pull them. Go ahead and take a second, pause the video, go down there, write out what you think that these are going to be, considering what we have. I would not be at all surprised if this feminine card was the world and this was like justice, right? This appears to be overwhelmingly provisionary and change. So let's see what the divine is going to tell us. In the divine feminine, we have the star. Wish upon a star and it shall come true. That is what this is. This is your current situation. All of your dreams are coming true. You're going to have to step into it. This is probably going to be a night. Watch, right? This is your current situation. This is you being provided for, getting all of the things that you have ever wished for, right? This is also a balance card like Temperance. What we see is we've got the sun surrounded by 7 other stars, making a total of 8. She has 1 foot testing the waters, and she's got 1 foot on the land, balanced. She is pouring the waters of life on the land and in the water, balanced. She has the divine sunflower over here, proving providence. Right, so that's the tree of life over here I'm thinking about. This is all of your wishes coming true. Now this is, what is that? It's a 17, so that is going to be another learning card. This is the learning of emotional fulfillment, the highest path of attainment. And so this is the clarifier for the 10 of cups. And so there may be some emotional learning that needs to happen. I wonder if we've seen that somewhere else. This is the highest attainable path of provision. This is the highest attainable emotional stability. This is how your dreams come true, through the emotional stability, the understanding of the lesson of the emotions. This and the world are really good, right? This is all of your dreams coming true. This is your hopes, with the things you wished upon a star coming to you. Let's see what the actions are. The 10 of Cups. Okay. We can definitely deal with that. Now 10 is going to be what? Learning? Oh my goodness. We've got another learning card. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's get a count, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 16 are learning cards. And then you got harvest, 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 right? This is the end of a cycle. Now, this is the 10 of Cups, which is emotional provision on a generational level. This is learning how to be emotionally stable across the generations. 10s are generational provision cards, right? That is why I'm saying that. When it is presented in the upright, this is emotional fulfillment. This is learning about emotional fulfillment. Now, you still have a little bit left to go. You have this 3 of Cups, which is telling you that you have an emotional restriction that you have placed upon yourself that you need to get rid of. This, when it is standing upright, this is emotional balance. This is giving to the next generation the ability to be emotionally balanced. Now, if you are provided for in the way that is talked about here, that's going to be a lot easier than if you were struggling every day. You do have this presented in the reverse, which means that there is still work to be done. It is not as imminent. Both of these are going to indicate you have something internal to learn about a feeling. But if we take these cards together in consideration of everything else that is on the deck, your hopes and dreams are being fulfilled currently. Now, there is still an emotional learning that has to be done around this situation. There is still some little key that has not quite presented itself yet. You will be presented with a communication and with change. The communication is probably going to lead into the change, but that is going to lead to the harvest, right? Like a major harvest in your life. There are major cycles that we go through in life. There is always a process by which you are walking the path of the tarot. There is always a new path being presented. There is always something new to learn. There is always something new to understand. There is always choices to be made. There will always be conflicts and challenges, right? You are continuously on the path of the tarot. But during that, in certain periods of our life, we get harvests, right? Now, if you have been planting terrible seeds, you might be about to harvest some terrible things. But that is not this read, right? What this read is telling me is that you have been working diligently towards being balanced, to step into your magicianship with the consideration of other people's. And you are being presented with a chance here. This is a chance provision if you take it. But this self-limiting might be you not being able to accept help, right? This, reversal of these threes, the cooperation reversals, might be that you have a hard time accepting help and you need to work on that. There is definitely a learning around emotions. They are self-imposed. There's definitely a harvest coming. And that's going to bring us to the end of the reading, right? I could continue, but it's the same thing over and over. Like, benefit, benefit, benefit. There are choices. There is a challenge. But, like, even your challenge spot is really just about embracing the harvest and getting it there. Learning what you need to do to get to the final harvest. Nurturing the final energies so that you can reach the final harvest. Like, this is amazing. This is a really great read. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion. If you like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, a share, a follow. Throw me a comment if you agree or disagree with anything that was said. Put it in the box, and if it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. If you really like what I'm doing over here, hit me with that super thanks. Consider joining for a membership or picking up a copy of my book where I teach you to do magic responsibly. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt State. Peace.